Alright guys, I'm back. I had to start a video too of the divine wisdom of spirit of truth, another segment because I clicked off, but it saved it, so I'll post that one first. But this one's not going to be too long, maybe just an hour because it's the only amount of time I got left for things I got to do today. It's 3:39 p.m. on March 14th, 2021 on their Gregorian calendar. Okay. And so I'm going to go over some practical theology, a good little concept when reading the word and to get some clarity and assurance. Um, I hope the first one kind of clarifies some things for the pregnant mothers and the people that are existing right now in this time frame while all these things are uh, happening in the world and why some people don't understand their ethnicity or their culture or their heritage or even their blood group. It just have all been confounded, confused by the enemy, which we all know is Satan, Lucifer, and Baal, and many other titles that he goes under to hide himself. But he came through Esau. He came through Esau's seed. All right. So even he has a beginning. He has something that created him, and everybody do too. So this is to give y'all clarity and assurance on about the things that y'all have came upon in y'all knowledge and y'all understanding from seeking through the books and from your experiences. Because as we know, everybody have a life and have one life to live. Could be in different existence, but we have one life to live and one way to die. All right, so the plague of the death angel has gone out. I'm not sure what time frame, but we all know that Yeshua Christ, he overcame death. And for the ones that have the testimony, they understand how this was possible, how Mary was possible to conceive a child into this world of the spirit. All these answers, I've known y'all have seeked, and the spirit has gave y'all these things. So that's a good thing because they gave me some too. So we all, sharing part in this prophecy and this thing, and just the war between the non-believers and the believers, battling, basically battling down, get it to the end of it. But I hope this gave y'all clarity of how these things was possible in the book that y'all are reading, in the truth book, and documents of our history. It's like a history, small little book, you know, that correspond with the world knowledge and all the other things that we have that has came about. So I am excited to be bringing forth some more things and evidence that y'all can ask among yourselves. And like I say, y'all can always turn on my video. Y'all can always go into like a congregation or a crowd or sit in your room or your houses and invite people over and play the little things on your TVs or on your devices. You have many people. I keep a low profile because I want to. Here and there, I tell people to subscribe, and I've got some so far. So, and some been adding. So I thank y'all for y'all new subscription. But if you want to, you can always gather, and I prefer it that way. It's the best way, especially with all these things going on, because I really don't care about the reward or the money or the YouTube or if I get there or not, because every day I can still speak and it's public for anybody to come and click on to listen to, or have people in the background listening to it as well, getting in groups, getting in things, and without my numbers going so high or without my viewership going so high. So I'm okay with that, so I'm not the type that's worried about them like, y'all gotta like, y'all gotta view, you know what I'm saying? I let people be freely who they are, and you have a free choice and will to love, to share, to review, or you put it on or whatever. It's not a big thing to me. But I'll just hope that people come across my pathway, which I am in the midst, and they get what they can take out of the information provided by others and from me and from, different things. And so to help them along their journey of truth. That's what I'm here about. So why is God so obsessed with blood? Often I hear God accused of being gory. Why is God so obsessed with blood, people ask. Like it or not, the Bible is a bloody book. From Genesis, yes, they've been doing sacrifice against the Holy Grail or genocide, or since Satan defiled Eve and brought in a seed. They've been doing that since the beginning. The word tell you that. From beginning to the end, it revels in blood. Within just a few chapters of Genesis, a blood sacrifice is implied as God used animal skins to cover the nakedness of Adam and Eve. So we see that the Father, the reason why he was forced to do that animal sacrifice from the beginning is because, again, he stated, when he came for judgment to judge the serpent, the woman, and the man, he asked them all questions. And she told the truth, and he found out, yes, she was deceived, and it's been going on since the beginning of time, deception. Because women, we don't have full knowledge of things, but we know because we are existing, and we are the completion of evidence. So that's the understanding of how I knew something went wrong in my past, but I didn't have the words of understanding until what, 10 or maybe 6 or 7 years later, or could verify or confirm more about why I was feeling that way. And so I was technically right before I knew I was right. And you could be technically wrong before you know you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the word come in place, so you can rightly divide and balance the life and apply wisdom, which it says to apply wisdom. That was the key word to your life living and keeping the commandments. And so that's why he was forced to do an animal sacrifice, because sin had entered into that point in time. It did. It tells you the story. So God is not a bad or no weak. He's not like that. It ain't. So it's always a balance, and he has wisdom, the spirit. So he did what he can do to mankind at that moment, because he created things and he know all things. He was the creator of the serpent. He knows all things about that. So that's why he did that part. Genesis 3:21. In the deliverance of the Hebrew people from the grip of Egypt, God instructed them to make a blood sacrifice from a spotless lamb and then coat their doorposts with his blood. Exodus 12:13. Then shortly after, God instructed a law requiring a yearly sacrifice of untainted goats and lambs. Two folds. Remember, this always has a spiritual, always has a physical sense. The blood from this act was of utmost importance. It needed to be sprinkled around the altar by a high priest in order that Israel could maintain a relationship with God. So your woman being a complete creation to help her man, she's also can be a mediator from man to God. Why? Because she's in the midst. She's the final creation, and man is in his image. So she would be the quote unquote mediator when she's in her spirit form, or you know what I'm saying. And that's the relationship between man, woman, and God. And God, we know, is a spirit, because it said God is a spirit, and those who worship me must worship me in truth and spirit. Now, those scriptures come in mind. All right. The New Testament reveals that this bloody sacrifice were the prefigurement of Jesus Christ, who came to the earth as a spotless lamb and endured horrific humiliation on the cross as the final, once for all sacrifice for the forgiveness of sin. The event was so bloody, in fact, that the Bible describes Jesus wasn't even recognizable as a man. Isaiah 52:14. And just as blood was used in Israel's deliverance from the bondage of Egypt, the Bible concludes by affirming Christ's followers in their sustained victory over the clutches of Satan through the blood of the final lamb, which is in Revelation 12:11. Offended by the blood, makes no mistake, God is obsessed with blood, and this offends many people, causing the Clumpermary Church to skirt around the topic. Just observe the bloke of today's sermon, and you'll notice the blood is all but drained from the modern gospel. Some have deemed it irrelevant. I've even heard parents complain when their children were taught about Christ's crucifixion in a Christian school. It may cause nightmares, they protest. With the general lack of teaching about the importance of blood throughout scriptures, Often I hear God accused of being gory. Why is God so obsessed? People ask. But y'all don't ask y'all government and y'all doctors when they're taking blood from you and determining your blood type and giving you shots. But you're blaming God for why you're in the situation, or you're blaming God for what Satan has set up, or for mankind, not the ones that are human, but the other man, the unclean beast, have done. So I don't think nobody should be questioning God's creation that's speaking through me right now, and I am a living form, I am a woman. Or why God, if God is the problem. Y'all have gave so much credit to the enemy and Satan. You have literally transferred him into a light and an angel. That's what the knowledge has done. And so when God is speaking through his creation or his complete creation, it's evil. It's wrong. She's this, she's that. Titlements, labelments. But hey, that's what Christ went through, right? So I would be a representation of a perfect, just spiritual crucifixion, all down to it, because that's what they do. I mean, y'all spirit are testifying against y'all at this moment. This is what they do when it's like that part. And I ain't talking to people around me. I'm talking about to the world in general, of anybody walking in this behavior that cannot take heed to sound wisdom or don't care to know the answer of why the world has been how it is. Why people are frustrated. Why people are mad. Why people compressing themselves. Why these things are going on. It is not God doing this to y'all. It is not God creation that loves y'all that's doing it to y'all. It is what these people have done and set up themselves to do as God. The government, the officials, all these people. The man, the unclean men people, the hybrids, the people that's are the true sorcerers, and they did this to y'all, not me. And when I'm coming in correcting and cleaning it up and giving y'all some confirmation, maybe giving y'all some enlightenment, I'm just the messenger. But it's all about kill the messenger, right? Whether it's a woman or a man. And it's sad because I'm a woman and I have emotions and I care and I love. So you can't show one side of me. You have to show my evil. You have to show my bad. You have to show my good. You have to show my, righteousness. It's just what it goes. It can't be no one way of making me look something that I'm not. And it's not making me look something that I ain't. This is a balance. This is a balance in life. You must understand, to God, blood isn't gur. Sin is what has made it gory. Exactly. So birthing abominations, when he told the woman you should not sleep with any beast kind, God is not going to speak on get something that it ain't in the world, it don't exist. And the mother backs it up about the evil and go in detail more about what exists. So he's not going to speak it unless it's actually happening, is what's going on, because he knew from the beginning of what happened. And so the sin is when you are being defiled. When a woman has been defiled and been made to carry abominations and bring into this world, that's a defilement. That's a defilement. And that's blaspheming of his spirit, because he didn't create his spirit to birth kids that are not of him. But he told y'all in the beginning what happened. Now put it into your reality. It's here. It's in reality. I can tell my testimony. I can tell my truth over and over and over, and it ain't going to change. Get me in front of any, I'm going to tell the same thing. With or without the word in front of me now, I'm going to tell you the same thing. I'm not going to change. God said, I don't change. I don't change. It's not God's the problem. It's how y'all misunderstanding God and his nature and what he creation and what exists. It is humans. It is y'all. It is us that we did these things. So I want y'all to stop accusing God. And that's what he says. Well, you are your father. You gonna do the lust of your father. It was no truth in him from the beginning. He was a liar and a murderer and murdered his brother. Ain't no truth in him. So don't expect. That's your AKA narcissist scientist. That's y'all term. Okay? When you hear of a murder, often you picture a tragic blood slaughter. Where there's a car accident, there's almost always great bloodshed. And so we view blood as the most disgusting representations of everything that's wrong with the world. Now of these are God's original design. None of these are God or God's original design, but the results of sin. So when I lay down with a man that doesn't have my group, does not have my genetic makeup, and I created a child, because Father already told you that Satan has a seed, so that means he's had a penis, right, to be able to produce. All right. When I did that and created that, that was sin. That's why Solomon go into detail, and that's why some of the others go into detail, that through the woman all sin came, because a woman gives life when the semen is put in her. Now that makes sense. So you see why I got chastised hardly, and I didn't even know. I was right inside, but nobody else could see it. But it was persecution for something, and I was wrong, because I was deceived to think all men, or if they black or they got some black in them, they human, or they are the father. I was young then. I didn't have what I have now. I didn't have the knowledge I have now. My eyes weren't woken. The Father woke me up on his own time. Whichever time he said, that was time for me to wake up. I couldn't even control that. So it's like, so when that happened, it gave me more understanding, because in Deuteronomy he said in his word. So I couldn't get mad when I went back to realize, oh yeah, like, yeah, I did know. So the only thing I was wrong about is being deceived, thinking that, all men are the same and just want to help mankind, and I want to mate. I want to be married. I want to have somebody to love. And is that wrong to love? Was it wrong for me to see the good even in the devil's sons? Was it wrong for me to see the good? Surely he said there's some good in them. He said it was good and evil in the tree. And I'm witness testimony of that. So that's what happened to me. I was only supposed to have one seed, but I end up having, what it is. But I'm not complaining and I'm not mad. Don't get it as a hate speech, or I'm crucifying my children. I'm correcting the ones that love me. I'm correcting the believers that came from me, but I'm also giving charity to the children of the world that may be asking why do they got certain things and attributes and they don't understand. Why some albinos have soul. Why some people got spirit and they're not, and why some black people got the spirit of this. I'm just giving y'all why this has happened. And so he used science to cover up the truth that this book right here told everything from the beginning to the end. And all he did was use world knowledge, keep us busy, keep us off of everything else, spread the doctrine through his seeds, the lie, to get us all types of each way to and fro, like he be to and fro. So we would never pay attention to what God's voice and words say, and we can't, and don't look around and see creation for yourself and try to figure it out. Don't use yourself as an example and ask yourself questions in your gender or who you were born as a woman or a man. That's what he did. So that's why. So again, the Old Testament can't be done away with, because I got chastised for something that was in the Old Testament that surely he told. And I shall surely be put to death. And I was, spiritually, from the tongue, because life and death is in the tongue. So I bore a physical, not a physical yet, but I bore a spiritual, and it started to lead to physical death, because I do believe I died that night in my home. I don't care what nobody say. But I may not, and I may just went into deep sleep and I woke up and just everything changed, because that's how I felt for me. Like my whole nature, everything. But anyway, I'm just giving y'all clarity assurance of the spiritual crucifixion of the tongue was dead serious, especially in that time. And nope, he didn't come back and apologize. And if he did, it was just a demeanor, because they lie. They two double-edged swords with their mouth. Come back and say, oh, I'm sorry. Is that next moment they persecute, cuss me out again. That's how that confused spirit do. And that's what he did, and left me with the child. and still at where he was to this day. As I explore in my book, Silence, Satan, shutting down the enemy's attacks, threats, and lies and accusations. The devil loves to perpetuate this image. Through things such as media and movies, he keeps gore front and center so that we're repulsed by blood and thus turn off to a God who he portrays as cruel and bloodthirsty. A different view of blood. Indeed, sin is what perverted blood and equated it with death. God, however, created blood to present life. This is what the scriptures affirm. So when it says, oh, negative gives life to everyone, but we can only accept our own. So common sense will tell you, if this blood can be given to everybody in blood transfusions to save their lives or spare them time, then it's safe to say that obviously it was the original of all the ones that exist in the world. That's common sense. And not only that, the Bible confirms this if you put it in the right context and you look at it in a positive way of what God was showing us, and what it represents. And it represents life. Because through blood, I live inside of my body. And when I have a child, my child is in the womb, it's in the water. But when it comes to mixing it, if it's not of me, that's why it does that. That's why it does that. Ask God. But God already spoken through the scripture. It is Satan that is confusing y'all and making y'all think that God is so bad. But everybody has blood in their veins at this moment. If you're living right now, you got blood flowing through your brains at this moment that keeps you alive, keeps your heart pumping, a good organ, mainly your main organ in your body. So, again, the sin, when that semen of sin came inside of my womb, that's what made it perverted. Was the one that came inside that wasn't supposed to be there. But not me and my blood and me and my mind and my soul was not the problem. My problem was simply what it told you. I was deceived by my love. But now I have my wisdom with my love, because that's what it brought me to. I have to. So I've done all my works in the dark, but they weren't really in the dark because I was still doing something right by allowing the next individual love, allowing them to know what love is, helping them, trying to see them. That's me. And I dealt with my consequences from the sin of the affliction of those individuals coming inside that wasn't. And like you said, no one that touched her shall be innocent. And God and, the Father know who they are. He knows exactly. He knows the cross and the past tense of who's been in my path or not. Just like he knows for y'all believers that he's adorned and told y'all. He knows who's been in y'all past or not and what's been happening tonight. He's been that protection around you the whole time. Because y'all are the witnesses. That's why he said to Abraham, those who bless you, I'm going to bless them. But those who curse you, I'm going to curse you, because you are my sword. You and Sarah. For the life of the flesh is in the blood. Leviticus 17:11. More than anything else in the body, blood is essential to live. It's what carries the fuel and the oxygen to the billions of cells in our bodies. Blood supplies the brain and the heart with the necessary nourishment to function. It also carries carbon dioxide and other waste materials to the digestive system, where they are then removed from the body. Without blood, we couldn't keep warm or cold, or fight infections, or get rid of our own waste products. Additionally, our very identity, our DNA, is located in our blood. So when I was telling y'all that I got healed, So if some of the men did have diseases or they did have other things, the reason why I didn't die or the reason why I'm still living or things didn't happen because of my blood type. And they have already proven with some things that I can be immune to. I did not die from the flu. So I already had that one. I'm immune to that. I already had chicken pox when I was little. And I fought when I was little, the chicken pox disease, when y'all remember when it was bad. I made it through that alive. I made it through the abominations from his father alive without any deadly thing. My blood and my spirit protected me against that. I'm not saying I'm immune to everything. I'm just saying I'm still living and I'm breathing. I'm healthy as possible. My spirit is healthy, and then I also changed my eating habit, so that boosts me up more. So when I'm drinking my water, I'm actually replenishing my blood too to fight more of any disease or anything that come upon me or anything like that. So that water helps with that. Water is a very good nutrition to help fight off, especially if you got already the blood in you of that. It's gonna do a lot of work too to help. So I didn't get anything, and the only reason why after I got pregnant I was able to, and I used some of their pills, but other than that I can't even say it was really that pills that did it. It was actually the spirit and I already was in that did a lot of the work too. So that kind of helps. So I'm not saying some of the things that they give y'all for when these men defile y'all or things happen that it couldn't help, but it didn't help my whole pregnancy. So that's another testimony in itself to figure out, and I would like for y'all to go look, is when I had the baby inside of me, it would not go away. And I took a lot of their pills and kept on taking, and they said it was curable, which was chlamydia and trick, which is a parasite. It's a disease built off of uncleanliness. So I was unclean. I used to have to tell him to take a bath. I used to have to try to run it, and he was a grown man, I know. But this is how I am, a caring person. I've took care of disabled people. I have a disabled child. I mean, I'm not about bashing or, I just want you to know uncleanliness is a sin, as I stated in the spirit of wisdom. It is. And so those things, so I had to clean myself. But anyway, but after I had the child, it went away. Everything was fine. I prayed about a lot of things. And it happened for me, and it just healed automatically. So I do believe our bodies do heal automatically. So I didn't have those. I didn't never have no deadly thing. Now, I have caught, like I said, the flu, chicken pox, trick, or maybe these little things of people coming up on me. But the Father knew all that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Everybody wants love. Everybody wants to be with somebody. But you can't make nobody keep the commandments. You can't make them stop sinning. I was only a guide to get these people to, hey, stop. And when it got to a part where the sin got too much, I had to let it go for my own soul's sake, because I am holy. I'm not with that nastiness. I'm not with that sin. I can't live in it. I can't deal with it. So that's the understanding, y'all, why I couldn't be with those individuals. It was something of sin that they kept dealing with, or it was something of sin that kept lingering. It kept on throwing me out. So I had to make it for my spirit, for my freshness, and for me to be able to breathe clearer, and for me, my spirit to be okay, because I am moral. I'm not a corner person. I'm a spirit person. I'm not dead. I'm alive in flesh. So I felt those things even when I was in my sin. So like I said, I got to give my two versions of myself, because although I transform and I'm in myself now spirit, I cannot forget my past, because it made me who I am now. And it gives you more understanding about my walk and the different things and dangers and things I faced along the trials and the testimony. So I just wanted to give y'all that, so that it helps some of y'all make the best decision with these vaccines, or who you're allowing in your body. And that's why your temple is your body. And you be careful who you let in. You be careful what you put in your body, what food you're looking at, what you're watching. All of this makes an important notion. Trust me, from experience. Now, they have labeled the O negative the pure blood, blue blood of the gods. Very rare. If you are of the blue line, this claims you will also have the red hair gene Throughout history, red-haired individuals was demonized, and many put to death for their magical powers. They were accused just as Christ was accused for healing through the power of the devil. Now, my mother Mabel, which is my biological mother, said she was born with red hair. This was her words, not mine. Now, since I came from her womb, those genetics would be still in me, right? Just like my child. Now, this is not to call my mother a witch, or it's not to call her that she's even demonic, because she's a woman just like me. Y'all, and she can tell y'all best of who she is, or she can say her truth, or she can say not, or her life experience. That's up to her. She has a right. She has her mouth to open up. I know what I've been through, but I don't want to label that, because I still honor my parents. I love them and respect them. And I listen, but I'm not her and she's not me. So that's why I can't speak on her behalf of how she felt, you know, being born as a redhead. Alright. I wasn't born of a redhead. I got my father's genetics. And see, this is why it's possible, because both of my parents created me. That's why I do not split them. When I'm giving concepts, I bring the two as one. I don't split them. I don't. I love them both, just like I love my heavenly father and mother. They created me. I don't split them, even if I don't take sides either. But this is just giving y'all understanding of why they called Christ and was saying he was healing from the power of anyway, O negative was a pure blue blood of the gods. Very rare. And this is y'all evidence and y'all stuff. O positive was mixed God human, likely the first humans created by the gods. Most common of today's humans, which they have said majority of the world is O positive. Both of my children are, but they have different fathers. So if I'm a God as O negative of the original source, and when I mate, my children are going to be half me, and they're going to be existing in the world with me, but they're mixed humans and they're mixed God. But then you'll have a God that's an original God that's in flesh, was born in the world too. They call it magical powers. They call it all these delusional titles. They call it the witches. They have all these different labelments. But these are y'all labelments, not mine, okay? And then they say A negative is mixed God human, the first type. The A positive is first humans, very common, not mixed. B negative, mixed God, second type. B positive, second humans. AB negative, mixed God humans. Type 1 and 2, rarest of all the bloodlines. AB positive, mixed human, type 1, human, and very rare. Some of the other gods look badly on this interbreeding and what all that was going on. So collectively, they decided to create the great flood that would kill all of those creations but one family, Bible, Ark, Noah. Some of these people survived. After some time, men decided to look down on the leadership of women, changing even the calendar to a 12-month cycle with the sun, one God, and male energy. Men took over rule and suppressed women. They said that 13 was an evil number, so continue on with the 12th-month calendar we use today. It is said that Mary Magdalene was the true leader, but as the world and belief changed into a man rule, Jesus took much of the credit for Mary's teaching. They tried to free people from the lies created by jealous men looking for power, and they were hated for this. This video below tells us that Mary fled to France and bore children that were the descendants of Christ. France knew the importance of this bloodline and protected them for years. I am unclear about whether Jesus went with Mary into the south of France, or if Mary left after Jesus persecution with child. I believe this video states they raised their children together. Another question I have is, if the original calendar was 13 months, what year would it actually be if the 13-month calendar was still in use? Please comment below with any information you have. The family spread out, moving through Egypt, Morocco, and the Basque region. The Spanish royal bloodline carries this genetic mix, as do other royal lines, as you will see. If you are of the blue line, this claims you will also have the red hair gene. So my mother genetics, like I told you, she could be A negative, my father could be B negative, but they still have that negative genetic code. She could be born with red hair, he could be born with Negro hair, and then boom, when they mix. That's why I wasn't born with red hair though. But it's in her genetics, as we see, if she told y'all that, yeah. If you are of the, okay, so throughout history, redhead individuals was labeled demonized. We don't know yet, and we're still getting evidence to see if it was. But they labeled it. So even if they were or were not, this is what y'all labeled. Because all the puzzles got to be put together. Can't use one without the other. Because two bring life, man and woman. So you can't use woman without the man. And the father genetics and without the mother genetics. And many put to death for their magical powers. They were accused, just as Christ and Mary accused for healing in the name of the devil. So that's a great article about that. So y'all get to tell me if I'm wicked or not. And you see why I can't talk, why I'm silenced, and why I can't. I'm in a situation where I have to be a stone, basically just a standing still in the mist, in my vision, because the titles and labelment. Now, when I talk and present myself how I am, I can only do that. But it's up to y'all to accept if it's true or is it wrong? Am I right? Am I evil? Am I bad? And it can be misunderstood because everybody got a different perception of God or his creation or what it is, why it's happening. And so that's why I can't win for losing. So that's the only thing. But it's a good thing because it still allows me to just be me. And so now I just have to be me. And that's what I always just been. Just coming more in tune with myself. So I can't do nothing but present the evidence, and other people, y'all can present the evidence and talk and do y'all things. And I can only clarify, which I agree with some of this stuff because I am it. So I can agree with a lot of things that the knowledge have, presented itself. Okay, so I want to read y'all because I'm almost done. I want to read y'all out of Ecclesiastes. Okay, I'm gonna use the King James version. I'm gonna read y'all Ecclesiastes out of my 1989 Nelson Edition King James Version Bible. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I'm gonna read chapter 3, and I'm gonna read chapter 7 before I end this one. It's at 38 minutes, and I'm glad y'all stayed in tune for this moment. But let me read a little bit to give y'all some little scriptures and some guidance before we end this session today, okay? To keep y'all on the path and keep y'all on straight things. And if you know someone doing some lies or speaking contrary, or you know, just stay away from the media, stay away from certain different things. Come on my channel, get some peace, get some clarity. If you want, listen to me. Got a playlist up. I got different little things. If y'all can just come on and just go through it, and just form your own understanding and know what I'm standing on, and make your own choice of who you're gonna serve, and is it gonna be Satan and God? Because you can't put me in the same room with sin. I just could have never deal with that. I'm just being honest. I couldn't deal with some of these work areas of all these abominations. This is why my spirit just never could allow to be around this negativity. And because it's unholy, and I know it's not right, and I know it's unholy, and I know the things that people do, but it's in a darker light. And I'm here to say that that's my understanding of why certain movements I made, certain things that happened and correspond in my life. So, because I can't, and that's why I'm alone, and that's why I'm alone. For people who says that, well, why you by yourself, or why you won't get apart? Because sin is everywhere. You can't run from it, you can't hide from it. It's everywhere. It's in everybody at some point, but it has got out of hand. Nobody wants self-discipline. Nobody wants correction. Everybody want to just live how they want to live, be covenant breakers, be horrible. I mean, this stuff is just all up on the rise. Can't even have friends without them trying to be conversation about getting into some evil stuff or doing something evil or hating somebody. So it's kind of like, where can I go? What can I do? But stand still and be me and rest. That's all I can do, because until y'all ready to get those things in check and y'all ready to understand and actually live the word with me, what can I do for you? All I can do is say, I love you. I pray for you. But I'm not going down that road. I've been heavy chastised, and I know, and I'm grateful of being brung out of that. I'm not going to take that lightly, because he didn't have to do that for me. Nobody didn't have to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? But he did. The Father did, the one that created me. So I should honor that. I should appreciate that, because I could still deep down in that dark without anything to hold on. I could have been. But I'm grateful to be able to be awake and to be able to see the snares, be able to see the things that's been done, to see the deceit that's been playing on me, and to see the things and be able to actually have a fighting chance back, because it was preying on the weak. I didn't have a fight, chance back in certain things because of the lack of knowledge. But now that I do, why is it a problem? That's what y'all wanted me for, to me to be better. That's what you said out your mouth. But did anybody truly really wanted me to be better with my anger? Did you really wanted me to be better with my sin? And once I cleaned myself up and got better, then I get fully attacked. But that's what they wanted. So this is what, that contrary line that I was telling y'all about in the poem. It's crazy. The contrast the way of life. So, people say things out their mouth they don't mean. And that's literally a twofold. Mean they don't mean. If y'all get what I'm saying. They say things out their mouth they don't mean, but they do mean at the same time. You just pay attention. So anyway, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 in my Nelson edition, the King James Version. God predetermines the events of life. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. What profit has he that worketh in there wherein he labored? All right, let's go to chapter 7. Wisdom and folly contrasted. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is in the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the contentants the heart is made better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of the mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. For as the crackling of thrones under a pot, so is the laughter of the fools. This is also vanity, frustration to the Holy Spirit. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Better is the end of the thing than the beginning thereof. So, laboring, bringing forth birth, yeah, it can be painful. Them last moments coming to deliver the children. The patience in the spirit is better than the proud in the spirit. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger rested in the bosom of fools. Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these? For thou dost not inquire wisely concerning this. Wisdom is good with an inheritance, and by it there is profit to them that see the sun. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he has made crooked? Because he did say, I am the Alpha and Omega. It says in Isaiah about the piercing serpent and the dragon, and Alahaya being the serpent of all gods, Omega and Alpha. He creates good and he creates evil. And his form is man. So if he created that, he can turn it back to dust, just like he can bring it up from dust. Resurrection. In the day of prosperity, be joyful. But in the day of adversary, consider. God also has set the one covered against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. All right, let me just read this one. Wisdom of moderation. All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perish in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Be not over much wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? It is good that thou shouldest take hold of this. Yea, also from this withdraw not thy hand. For he that feareth Elohim shall come forth to all of them. All right. And that's my take on it today. I already did an hour and 47 minutes, I think, on the first one, guys. And this is at 7 minutes. Oh, my daughter done went to sleep in my hands. She's tired now. But I thank y'all for tuning in. This is March 14th, 2021 at 4:26 p.m. on the Gregorian calendar. I decided to show my bright face today, my light shining, because I'm feeling good, and it's springtime tomorrow, and it's just, I'm excited. So I didn't cut off the lights on y'all and made y'all see darkness. Yeah, my soul is black. My soul is dark. That's why I have to understand it. But my face expressions, my melon, I'm brown and I'm copper. Okay? And so I understand the dark speakers and all of the things that Mother Wisdom has shared and given us throughout the time span. Alright, so I'm going to end this with, I love you guys. Y'all stay put. Continue to strive with the truth. Continue to speak your sound wisdom. May this bless y'all with on y'all way to y'all journey. I hope to see y'all and be able to speak whenever the Father tell me to speak again. I am going to post this to premiere on Saturday, so y'all stay tuned, okay? Thank y'all.